folks, guess what? I'm getting swarmed again by MAGAs, and they are getting more and more aggressive and unhinged every day. Yeah, the bullying, taunting, baiting, and acting like children is so vile. It's almost hard to believe these are real people typing out such crap. They're the least self-aware, most pissy, lazy bottom feeders you have ever seen. Engaging with them is futile because they will never research anything. They don't want to learn, and they are not at all worried about sounding like a misinformed idiot. You can give them all the bipartisan proof in the world, and they will defend their ludicrous views till death. That's really sad. The whole game they're playing is antithetical to civilized society. And I think if you break it down, it signals they have had no good role models in their lives, and they actually think a leader has to be an asshole. One woman said she'd take a pussy grabber any day as long as he's the most aggressive fighter. That really sums it up, huh? It doesn't occur to MAGA that leadership can look different than assholery. They literally do not believe that respect, intellect, empathy, and self-awareness are useful. They want whoever's going to be the biggest dick to the enemy to be in charge. I have to assume that's because people who've had power over them throughout their lives have been super dickish. I imagine their dads, coaches, or bosses must have made leadership look really shitty. Otherwise, why would they seek out the kind of leader who will mock people and treat people like peons? Why else would they normalize bullying and lying and gaslighting? If MAGA is comfortable with a sex offender in the highest seat in the land, who else in their life did they see as powerful despite being a predator? I've got to say, awful MAGA behavior hits particularly hard when it's coming from women. You might not believe just how low MAGA women are willing to go, in front of the world, in front of their kids. I've had so many comments from women saying Kamala slept her way to the top, Trump never assaulted anyone, all the women who accused him made it up. Women use abortion as contraception. Women just love killing babies. All Dems want to do is mutilate children and let migrants commit crimes on everyone. The most rabid MAGA women act like men. They call me sweetie, or sugar, or babe, or a dried-up cat lady. They say I should dye my hair or shut up. They tell me they can't wait until Trump becomes president so I get what I deserve. And to them, that's totally what winning looks like. They think the best leader seeks revenge and introduces a world of hurt on anyone who doesn't toe the party line. Maybe that's what the power players in their lives demonstrated. Maybe the top of the food chain was always reserved for the person who was most willing to fuck other people up. What also strikes me is how much MAGAs will contort themselves to not see ignorance or childishness or just plain shitty behavior. It's like once they pick a leader, that's it. They're going to do whatever it takes to see that leader as infallible. They'll turn themselves into pretzels before they'll admit Orangina has ever done anything wrong. And that saves them from ever having real conversations outside of the echo chamber. The worst part is, I believe them. I believe they really want Dems to suffer for objecting to depravity. A woman commented about cutting off her MAGA brother, and she got piled on by MAGAs who told her she ought to be ashamed for letting politics break up a family. That's like expecting a woman to stay in a domestic abuse situation. And I have to wonder, are MAGAs wanting to normalize the domestic abuse situation so they don't feel bad about loving a domestic abuser or being one themselves? It's like how kids in abusive families will always assume they're the problem and not their abusive mom or dad, because kids' psyches can't admit the person who keeps them alive is unfit or dangerous. That would mean the kid has nothing, and that's too much for a kid to stomach. So their compassionate minds make them the problem, which gives them the illusion that they can control the abuse. If they behaved better, the abuser would stop abusing. The allegiance to the lie is like a lifeline for abused kids, and I don't think MAGAs are much different. They believe they matter because the abuser is on their side, and he's a pit bull, so he's gonna hurt people. They believe if they were wrong about the ultimate scumbag, then they will be erased. Nowhere in this situation are anyone's needs being met except for the abusers. Without their needs being met, MAGAs stew in their aggrieved lives, reminded all the time that the world is cruel, and only the worst asshole among us can meet it with the cruelty necessary to stay in charge and keep them safe. It's such a cynical way of living, and it only perpetuates more cynicism. MAGA makes fun of people who get an education or have some therapy to deal with their abusive past. To MAGA, these things are a form of brainwashing from the radical left. How convenient, right? If MAGAs can't evolve, then nobody can. And MAGAs will not evolve. They're just going to keep the cycle going, so all they expect and all they experience is nastiness, and it all looks the same as it did when they were young. It's familiar, so why would they change it now? Especially when they're having such a great time believing they're owning the libs. Yeah. Well, MAGA, have the day you deserve.